Injustice Gods Among Us. So you've seen the updates yesterday about this animated movie. Not live action, animated, because we got Zack Snyder to do the live action version, of course, with his Justice League. Why doesn't this work? So you didn't misread this title. I'm saying why doing an Injustice movie is an injustice. So I'll tell you why, but first let's go through this little article really quick. An Evil Superman is coming as Warner Brothers announced the hit comic book series is getting the movie treatment. Let's see if you like this. Read more. Can I read more? Do I have to sign a subscription here? Okay, good. Uh, Release minimal details about this new DC animated feature other than the movies arriving next on the schedule after Batman Long Halloween with Jensen Ackles doing the voice of Batman. This fall sneak could arrive on that Blu-ray release. At last year's DC Fandom virtual event, Injustice co-creator Ed Boon answered questions about the possibility of creating Injustice 3. Possibility. Never mind He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, but I wish we could talk about it, but at the moment we have nothing to announce, but we appreciate the desire to see it. I still want to do my Metal Men story. Fans will get more Injustice, but which Injustice is coming to the animated movie? Gods Among Us. So, everyone remembers the video game, of course. The video game, this being this one here, PlayStation 4, Xbox 360, or actually Xbox One, PS Vita. I have the PS Vita version. So they'll keep you updated for voice cast. Okay, so let's talk about the book that I have, or the books that a little bit here, because I've already covered so much in my TikTok profile. And here's the cover to my first trade. Now, why doesn't this work? It's the length. Now, of course, if this was 75 minutes long, like Justice League New Frontier, or 85 like Batman Ninja, this would have been fucked. You wouldn't have had shit. 75 minutes to 85 minutes would have been a preview. You wouldn't have covered shit. You wouldn't cover fuck all with this. So, no. The last, I think, Superman, The Man of Tomorrow cartoon and Justice Society World War II are about an hour and a half, relatively. Let's shave off about 5 minutes. So maybe an hour and 20 to 25 minutes without the credits. So the credits maybe run a couple of minutes. Okay? So that's not a whole lot of time. And when we're talking about Injustice Gods Among Us, we are talking about the video game, okay? We're talking about like this one here. And the video game barely skims the surface. Now, you remember, like I said, when you look at this, you're seeing a whole bunch of stories. Now, remember what I said before about Injustice. It's not about Superman turning evil, because that's like driving into a dark tunnel without your headlights on until you crash into something. That's what Superman's evil origin story is like. That's what it is. And so that's half the battle as G.I. Joe. But the other half is how do the other Harley Quinn, Batman, Catwoman, Aquaman, Green Arrow, how do the other characters deal with this? How do they look inside themselves and figure out what to do next? It is that length of time, because remember, the books, it was not just a video game. It took a series of books, the comic books, to explain it all. So yes, dare I say Jupiter's Legacy, something similar to this, The Boys, and dare I say Invincible as well. And you can put the whole thing on HBO Max, just like The Watchmen, live action or cartoon. I mean, you could have, I'm one of those few people that, yes, I like remakes, and I don't mind reboots, but it's very difficult to do an exact remake, character for character, word for word. Like in the case of Sonic's Adventure, where it was started out as a Dreamcast game, and then a GameCube game called it DX. And then you have like the Sonic X version with, with newer casts, newer plot, but the lines are different, but it's trying to be the exact same thing, but it's not as good. And I'll tell you, let's go to another Superman story that I didn't like. I'll be honest with you. Like with Red Sun, written by Mark Miller, I liked the first book, but not the other two books. Like here it's different in the animated one, because Lana Lazarenko actually dies. In the comic book, she's in the breadlines. They try to amp up the drama for no real reason. And then when you get to Stalin, he actually kills Stalin here in cold blood, whereas Stalin died of mysterious causes in the book, in the comic book. So there's always going to be something they're going to get wrong. And I know it's nitpicking. I know a lot of people do the same thing with Star Wars and Star Trek. But I felt like when Mark Miller hit the notes and he got it right with the comic book, the first of the three books, I felt like you couldn't top that. So maybe you add a little bit more to it, but don't change the narrative. Let it be that Stalin dies on his deathbed. There was an assassination attempt. His first in command kills the person who did it. Lines him up and shoots him in the back of the head in front of a firing squad. Stuff like this, okay? That's what it was. I mean, Stalin was portrayed as maybe he's evil, but maybe he's good. The best stories I always think are the ones where you have one side and the other side, and they're both fighting, both do good and evil, and both have their reasons for doing the evil they do. And some of it is justified. In order for this to work, what needs to be done is that there either has to be a series of movies called Injustice movies, or it has to be a mini series. Otherwise, it won't work, because all you're going to really do is you're going to string together the plots from the video game and then just make one movie out of it. Maybe put back George Newbern as Superman, maybe Kevin Conroy as Batman, cast the rest however, but it'll essentially be the same thing. Because who else can you cast in those roles but the people who have done cartoons? George Newbern, I think Susan Eisenberg did Wonder Woman for this. I think everybody from Justice League did this stuff. So everybody did that, and for the cartoons, and they did it for here as well. So it's hard to just recast everybody. You could try it for the sake of doing it, but I don't think it really works. So those are my thoughts. I'm still going to do Metal Men's appearance in Injustice as people on an island, but that's all I got to say. Well, that's it.